¿Qué tal? Muy buenas tardes. Estamos en su programa Dos Fronteras. Muchísimas gracias por sintonizarnos. Estamos nuevamente en su programa desde Nueva York y New Jersey. Está con nosotros pues Jorge Braga, saludándonos desde allá, de la parte de Yucatán, y tenemos a Simon Williams aquí en New Jersey, y también acaba de pues, enlazarse con nosotros el profesor Ica Medina. ¿Cómo están? Muy buenas tardes, bienvenidos a su programa. Pues estamos con un show imprescindible, Jorgito, exactamente. También hay que saludar a todos en la Ciudad de México, en el centro, en el sur, y en todos los lados donde nos están pues ahorita viendo en estos momentos. Jorgito.
Exactamente, bienvenidos a este episodio número 7 de Dos Fronteras del Jiu. Bueno, tenemos invitadazos de lujo con la participación del maestro Ricardo Ica Medina y también con Simon Williams, que está allá desde New Jersey, duerme en Nueva York ya. Entonces, les damos la bienvenida, así que por favor apóyennos comentando, compartiendo, y bueno, chequen este pequeño mensajito que les tenemos. Dicen, pueden apoyar a Dos Fronteras de Jiu Jitsu aportando ahí de manera mensual, anunciándose con nosotros o enviando estrellitas. Ahí le pican para que puedan ustedes aportar sus estrellitas en la medida de lo que puedan colaborar. Bueno, pues adelante con la presentación. Creo que le toca a Simon.
Simon, estamos. So let's hear you, Simon.
Guys, welcome to Two Frontiers again. I'm Simon Williams. Today we have one of the most exciting figures, I think, in the history of Jiu Jitsu, Professor Kurt Osiander. Thank you so much for being here with us. A lot of people around the world follow you.
This is not the Professor Simon. Let me just correct.
I know. This is
our special guest is Ricardo Ica Medina.
He's
one of the first Mexican black belts. So very excited to having him here, and also we are just expecting to have Kurt Osiander in a few seconds. But let's introduce our special guest, Ricardo.
I assume Kurt was in the car with you. I'm sorry, Professor.
So, Bienvenido, Ica. Professor Ica Medina, let's hear about him. How's everything, man? How's life?
How you guys doing? Anyways, I actually just finished my class, and I'm in my car, as you guys can tell, and I'm just parked, and to get in and share a little whatever you guys want to know about me. Yeah, indeed, I'm the first Mexican black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even though I live here in the States. But like I told George last week, it's by choice. It's not because I can't be in Mexico. But I have plans. I have plans to go back to Mexico here pretty soon, actually.
So, sorry to interrupt you, Professor, but one of the reasons why we are having you here is because also you are one of those lucky, if we put it like that, one of those lucky guys that train in LA in the beginning of the huge wave of the Jiu-Jitsu, and also in the times that also Cesar Gracie was around. He went to I believe that he was in San Jose, somewhere there. After he left the school, the RAL school, then he traveled to San Jose and opened his dojo. But it's so funny, but not many people knows that. But about that, the same time you were training in LA with your team, right?
Yes, actually, funny you mentioned Cesar Gracie, because I remember when I was a white belt or a blue belt maybe already, Cesar Gracie came to our academy to visit Higar Machado, and even though he didn't train with us, he just came to say hello, I believe. But also Crawling Gracie came down, which Crawling Gracie is actually in Northern California too, close to San Francisco, or maybe even in San Francisco. But I did get to train with Crawling Gracie. So more Kroll and Gracie came to visit the Machados than more times than Cesar ever did. And what is it called? But he never trained with us. He just came by to say hello to Egan. Yeah, so I've known Cesar Gracie for a while. Like I said, ever since I was a white belt. And funny thing is too that Ralph Gracie even came down a couple of times to visit Egan. Never trained with him though, but he's one scary looking guy when you see him face to face.
Yeah, that's true. And here we are. We have our special guests. Yes, and we have our special guests already showing off. Kudos, Osiander. Welcome to the show, man. We haven't seen you in ages. People are asking, like, where is this guy? Where is this professor? Well, you know, we have, let me introduce you the whole crew. We have Simon Williams, that is our partner here in this podcast. We have also Jorge Braga in Yucatan, right there, the guy who is. And we have our special guest, Ricardo Medina, one of the Mexican first black belts ever, being decorated by that belt by the Machado. And of course, you, man, we are so thrilled to having you in this show. Thank you so much for being here. And, Simon, Jorge, and our special guests are very excited to having you here. And I'm sorry, Professor Medina, that interrupted you, but, we were waiting for this guy for such a long time, man.
Yeah, so, that's Simon, cool. I'm good.
Simon, let's take it there. This is the time. So how you been? How's everything? How's life?
For me,
yeah,
it's doing really well right now. I'm just trying to make a comeback. I got both my hips replaced, and this is the second year of now finally this year I started lifting weights again like a normal human, and that's about it. Just trying to get back on the mats and get healthy again.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. We were like a lot of people were asking us, where is he? How's he doing? How's your health? How's everything with you? And we just, we talked with Jorge in Yucatan, like, you will be exciting to having him. All the people who watch your videos and watch you all the time, they were like, what happened to this guy? We hear that you were having some issues.
Life happened, and then it got quite difficult. I had some health issues, and I had some internal struggles with alcohol, and every now and then you slip up and go back to what you're used to, and that behavior for me is not tenable anymore. I can't fuck around with I'm not young anymore, so I can't fuck around anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course, man. We are all men now, and we really understand when we get old. Like we used to train like 2-3 times every day, pretty much, and now it's impossible. If we add that, any alcohol or cigarettes or stuff like that, it's gonna, we're gonna pay bad, really, really bad. So Simon, take it from there, man. You have some questions there. I know you're gonna ask.
Kurt, thank you so much for joining us. It's a real privilege to have someone of your stature in the history of jiu-jitsu with us. Loads of people follow you around the world, and your philosophy or approach of jiu-jitsu. Amazing career yourself as a competitor. And I mean, are you looking to get back to competition in a way, age group competition, or is that just...
I want it all back.
Yeah.
Like giving up it's just not in me, and so if I can, I'd like to make it back to where I'm like totally healthy and feel like I have the confidence to jump in there again. It's going to be against some other old guys like me, so.
But is competitive jiu-jitsu a good route back to that kind of health, do you think? Is that giving you a pathway to back to where you want to be?
It's kind of like setting an outside goal. You know what I'm saying? I always had like I'm very goal oriented. So like, if I don't have an end goal, I just fuck off.
Yeah.
So if I put goals out there, I go, fuck, I'm trying to get to that.
Yeah.
I can't fuck around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that was kind of the first thing I wanted to ask you about was, this shut up and train ethos, which is completely iconic around the world in jiu-jitsu for people who are getting on the mat, getting on with it. Does that have to have some kind of outcome for you? Do you need to aim that at some particular thing? And I mean, what is it? Where do you want to get to now?
Well, in the beginning, I had really simple goals, like my strength trainer, who is really cool. His name is Jeff. He trains out of Beast of the Bay Strength Gym, and he's all, what do you want to achieve? And I'm all, look, I'd like to be able to get up on my own without climbing up a wall, and I want to be able to dress myself.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. And so we got those done pretty quick, with rehab and stuff like that. And I get up, I can jump around, and now, I fix my shoulders and my back and my neck and everything as much as possible. And so now I have other goals. I want to get my range of motion back. I want to get my strength back to normal. And so this year's goal is like, I'm going to add on some pounds, muscle and get leaned out and not drink and kind of like calm down and try to just focus on my health and my training and my teaching.
Yeah. Well, good. From all of us and all of our listeners, very good luck with that.
Yeah.
We wish you the best. This jiu-jitsu is a community that quite often is seeking something you've called bullshit in the past, shortcuts, easy ways to submissions. That philosophy of persistence that you came up with, this relentlessness, the shut up and train, where did that come from? Is that rooted in your early experiences in jiu-jitsu?
Well, welcome to Ralph Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Except it wasn't just shut up. It was like just shut up all the time and then train really fucking hard, do what I say, and then he would hit us and sick dogs on us. So it was very old school. And so like my students, they come in late, I got purple belts sitting over there fucking stretching and shit. And I'm like, hey, you fuckers, you fucking have no idea what would have happened to you. You would have been chased out of the academy by a furious Half.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is that giving you something, talking about the health struggles now, getting back into the kind of shape you want to be in, getting back onto this path of teaching and competing? Is that kind of crucible in the Gracie gym, in the Gracie Academy? Has that given you some of that kind of resilience to focus on that?
For sure. Like when I was doing really bad, and Half came and saw me, and right, like when I finally got back from like the first time I went to rehab. I've only done it once, and so he came back and he goes, Kurt, I know you can do this. You're fucking stubborn as fuck, and you've been through everything. So stop fucking off and straighten up. And so that made a lot of difference. He's all, fuck, I know you. I've known you for fucking years. Now stop this nonsense before it fucking kills you. And so I stopped that nonsense, but sometimes I go back to my nonsense. But now I'm feeling a lot better, a lot clearer, and I got, this guy that's really cool. His name's Peter. He's my therapist, and he, how extreme athletes are. Is like we're extreme in our training, and we're extreme in everything, and so we're really extreme also in our party.
Yeah.
And like our motto, because I came up with like Scotty from On the Mat and Built to Fight, and now he has a clinic down in Mexico that does your stem cells and stuff. And so the whole motto was like, train hard, party hard, you know, and so that's the thing. And he's like, yeah, you're in like this cycle of like training really hard and you need to blow off steam. And so then you guys fucking party for a week like fucking like Dionysus, you know what I'm saying?
But is that part of the problem? You know, that you're training so hard, you're working so hard, you've got so much relentless focus on beating this other guy on the mat, putting a Martelao on the purple belt, and now actually you've got to live at the same kind of intensity when you're off the mat.
Well, that intensity definitely calmed down, you know. And, I still do jiu-jitsu every day except for Sunday. I train on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I lift on Tuesday, Thursdays. And so I'm starting to like, it's not the quantity, it's the quality.
Yeah.
Right?
No, pretty cool. Yeah. So
it's now the quality.
Listen, it sounds like you're in a good place, or a better one at least. And we wish you all of the best with the rest of that. That ongoing struggle, challenge, whatever you want to call it. But good luck.
It's a daily challenge and struggle for me. So, but you know, there's a lot of people that do the same things as I did and do it the same way. And now I'm starting to realize that, you know, as you get a little bit more mature, you're like, this is a nowhere road. Right.
I mean, as an instructor and as a teacher now, are there things you'd say to up and coming guys, you know, maybe guys in their 20s and 30s, the next wave of BJJ practitioners and professionals? What would you say to them about that kind of lifestyle? Because they're going to want to party too, right? They're going to want to live intensity.
They do, and I just go, be careful about it. You know, I definitely give them advice that it can snowball pretty quickly, and it can become a problem rather than just an alleviation, you know. But yeah, and then a lot of the guys, you know, they're like, I'm hurt. I'm like, all right, then you know, now like before we'd be hurt and Half would be like, are you hurt or are you injured? Or are you a pussy? And I'm like, I'm not any of those.
Yeah.
Right. And so we'd hurt each other, we'd fuck each other up. And then, you know, not addressing injuries and stuff like that, you end up with like broken nose that's not fixed. You end up with arms that don't go straight. You know, you've got a bunch of a lot of scar tissue and contusions. And so, like, for my new guys, I always say, take care of that injury. Make sure you do your rehab, and you've got plenty of time to train really hard. You know, so
that's kind of been a theme with a lot of the mixed martial artists we've talked to. Is they don't want to be a pussy. You hear this, you know, I've got to fight next week. I've got a really bad knee injury, but you know what? I'm just going to fight on through it. Is that a problem? Does that come out of that kind of pit bull?
Some guys, look, when I was doing MMA, I never pulled from a fight, and I never was 100%.
Yeah. But, I mean,
you know, and a lot of guys would get hurt, lightly hurt, not even like medium or heavy hurt, but lightly hurt, and they would pull because that would fuck with them psychologically, that they weren't 100%. And you're never 100%, because if you make it to that last week of rest, you know, your rest phase and your weight cutting phase, I never had to cut weight. I was a natural 185er. And so your last week is pretty much a rest week anyway. But if you made it to that last week, you know, healthy-ish, right, then you'd go on and fight. But some guys, they couldn't do it. It would fuck with them too much. They'd be like, oh, I kind of hurt my finger. and they'd pull from the fight.
But that's a hard balance to make, right, between, you know, I don't want to let a sore finger or a wrist strain or something stop me fighting. But actually, there must have been, were there times when there were fights you should have pulled out of, or roles or competitions you should have pulled out of, do you think?
Yeah. I had a broken nose. Well, I got my nose broken like 2 weeks before my fight. And I'm like, that's okay. I just won't get hit in the face.
You sure? And it really happened.
Well, I closed the distance really quick, and I dropped and I put him on bottom, and then I didn't get hit in the face anymore. So everything worked out that time.
And that works in your favor.
So you're making us all laugh. I mean, that's kind of something that I really wanted to get onto with you. Is, you know, you're a charismatic guy. You know, in the YouTube era, you've become famous around the world as this sort of intense, shut up and train, resilient fighter. Where do you think that connection with the global community comes from for you? Is it this honesty about yourself? Is it the drive, the charisma? Why have you resonated with people?
I have no idea. I was just fucking around one day, and my friend goes, "Hey, do a move, and I'll put some music to it." And then after that, it started to snowball, and then I was fortunate enough to be like sponsored ever since like '98 by Show Your Roll, and so I started doing like the move of the week just as a joke, and in truth, I wanted the move of the week to be kind of like funny shit, like crazy skits and stuff like that. But they're like, everybody's like, no, just stick to the fucking jiu-jitsu, and so so I stuck to the jiu-jitsu, and I figured that if I just showed like really good jiu-jitsu and didn't talk so much and like showed it like really well and then quickly, people would like respond to that better, you know, than somebody talking about philosophy and making their reel really long. You know, I instead I go really kind of fast and simple, and fuck.
Don't you think you know? Don't you think you sort of like, I mean, you and Ricardo was training with the Machado in the same time that he actually, I think he knows, you know, Cesar Gracie back in the day. But what I'm talking about, what I want to ask the two of you is that, you know, you have the old school back in the day that, you know, it was like focus, like you're not going to fuck around. You're just going to come here, train like it is, and shut your mouth. And then, you know, we say otherwise, it would be complicated, right? So back in the day, you know, like maybe Ricardo can talk a little bit about his experience. It's similar to your experience when you guys were training. You know, the two of you are pretty much the same, you know, have the same line in Jiu-Jitsu. So Ricardo, we want to hear a little bit about your background.
Well, actually, I think Kirk will agree with this. Since we started early 90s, I started in 1992. Back in the day when the Brazilians separated from Rorion Gracie, and some of the instructors that used to teach at Rorion Gracie's moved to Northern California. Some of them stay here in Southern California, where I am, right? Basically, I consider, I think Kirk agrees with this, that we're like the first generation of jiu-jitsu practitioners in the United States, right? So the Brazilians knew that they had to train us to be tough because we were going to represent them, right? So with us training, or for me, like I heard that Kirk say right now, for me training, I don't care if I was hurt or not. Training is training, and that's it. And yes, that's true, man. If you get caught slacking around with your phone or something, the instructors don't say anything. Back in the day, number one, we didn't have phones. But if you just start slacking around doing something else, the instructors will get mad at you. Because what the hell you doing, man? Just come back and you got to train. You got to train hard. Oh, I'm tired. What do you mean you tired? You fucking can't get tired. You just got to keep training. You know. So basically, they shape us tough, I believe, because they knew that we're going to represent them. I understand that. I think Kirk is with that, right?
I agree with that.
Me for not being able to train, all four of my limbs have to be down. Other than that, if I have one limb left that is healthy, I'm training. You know, that's the way it was before. You know, and at the beginning. Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to go back to something that you guys talked at the beginning. Kirk mentioned it. The definition of like jiu-jitsu saved my life it doesn't really apply now, but back in the day, the first generation that we were, the reason why jiu-jitsu saved our lives is because a lot of us were alcoholics, drug addicts, tough guys on the street, weekend warriors. I mean, you name it, right? So when we met jiu-jitsu back in the early 90s, some of them, early 90, 91, 92, if you were in the, if your life was going a bad way and you meet jiu-jitsu, all of a sudden you start doing jiu-jitsu and your life starts going good now. You stop drinking, you stop doing drugs, and and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that the first generation of jiu-jitsu practitioners here, we were just like all hoodlums and bullies, and and believe me. And believe me, in Brazil was the same thing, because many Brazilians that I know have told me, man, in Brazil jiu-jitsu, it was like the thing for guys on the streets to start doing to get out of the streets. So it was for the poor people of Brazil, and literally that's how it started here. I mean, oftentimes you hear the guys, I want to train, but I don't have any money, Imagine if we had to pay the amount of money people are paying right now to train jiu-jitsu. We were never started.
I was just enslaved.
Go ahead.
I've never had any money to pay for jiu-jitsu. So what Kirk say is the truth, man.
So Kurt, do you agree on this, Kurt? Do you were saying something there, Kurt? So we couldn't hear you. So let's go ahead and hear.
I totally agree with them. It totally saved me, and I stopped being a lead singer for a metal band, and then turned to jiu-jitsu, and then I was good for so many years, and but yeah, it was I just got lucky and had knew the right people. I knew Caesar from high school and stuff like that. And then as soon as I could start, I started, and that was pre-93. That was a long time ago.
It's kind of like funny that we say this now, because the new generations don't know exactly what we were doing, what we came from to start doing jiu-jitsu, to represent whichever Gracie you trained with, right? I started with Hicks on Gracie, and then I moved to the Machados. But Hicks on Gracie was a tough guy, man. It's just like, no way. I know for a fact Ralph Gracie was a tough guy. He's your instructor, man. And with him there was no messing around. You come here to train, you're going to train.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, Kirk, if Thiago Bella was training with you guys there for a while. Thiago Bella.
Yeah. The brothers would come up.
The Vela brothers, yeah. Well, anyways, I remember that they used to be good friends with number one, they were students of Ryan Gracie, but when they were in Brazil. But when they moved here, they went to Northern California and trained with Ralph Gracie, I believe. Because when Gabriel left Northern California and came to Southern California, he came to train with us, and he became one of my training partners. He was a purple belt back in that day.
Yeah,
I was a blue belt, I believe.
He's a tractor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good guy to train with, man. So matter of fact, now he's in London. Yeah, he's in London right now. He opened up an academy in England, in London, I believe. Yeah. And Gabriel Bella, his little brother, went back to Brazil. So, anyways, those were really, really tough, fun days, man.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I think when I was like a blue belt and a purple belt, I used to go to Santa Cruz to compete over at Claudio Franza tournaments.
At the U.S. Open.
Yeah, exactly, the U.S. Open, and
it's still going on. It still happens.
I haven't been there in a long time, man. But it used to be, fun getting in the car with a bunch of your buddies in the car and just drive all the way to Santa Barbara, and do some competition. No, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, and do some competitions there, and then drive back. But
that's how it was. We'd all hop in the car and drive for 8 hours, and then
exactly
sleep in the same room, and then fight, and then party, and then drive home.
there were not that many. There were not that many tournaments either, so you kind of have to go like look for them, and bunch of fun stuff. You mentioned Scotty from OTM from On the Mat. Actually, he sponsored me also with a couple of gis before. That's pretty cool.
I was sponsored as soon as OTM. I was sponsored ever since they started, and that was like 96.
I think we lost Kurt.
No, we hear them. He said he was sponsored in 96. We hear you, Kurt. So go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, I've known Scotty since 96. Him and Gumby.
Hello.
Danny Do Nothing and Lamont and all the boys. They used to sit
Sí,
there.
es por ahí, Jorge.
Wow. No, we have some problems with Ricardo, but go ahead. So, Kurt, you know, like this is really interesting. I mean, you know, these old days with the jiu-jitsu. I think you know, the great connection that you have with your students and with the people that, you know, like get to know you is basically, you know, that sort of you know, that camaraderie that you have with them, that friendly welcome that you open. You're not that strict like you know, with the Real Gracie used to be back in the days. You're more like a, you know, you get to understand everyone. I think that's sort of the love that people have with you, you know, in your academy. And I think that's probably, I will believe that's one of the biggest connections that you have with your students and with the people around you know, the community.
Well, I'm the same way. I'm the same way with you guys as I am with everybody, and I think I don't have any false pretenses. So if I'm gonna talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit. And if I'm gonna be civilized, I'll be civilized. You know, but I'm gonna be myself always.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So I want to ask you too, like, you know, back in the day, in specific techniques with Real Gracie was like this smashing machine, like, you know, those hard rolls that he was like, when you get off, you like pretty much get off like half of the way, because he was like just rolling with that guy. It was rough, and you know, that sort of technique is no longer happening in so many places, you know. Back in the day, it was just depression that Real Gracie used to have as a sort of like a you know, a special technique that we teach in San Francisco back in the day in your school, man. Do you still have that sort of technique? What are the techniques that you are teaching now? What are the focus of the academy now?
I always, like, my guys are like, oh, I'm doing no gi, I'm doing gi. I'm all, your fundamental movements are universal. It doesn't matter, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
I never had to like decipher or like translate my jujitsu, because my jujitsu is my jujitsu. It's whether I'm fucking naked or whether I'm in a gi or in board shorts. I'm gonna do the same thing, except maybe in the naked part I'll have my wang hanging out, you know. But everything's the same, and this like kind of like this new fad, because things are like kind of like trendy. Everybody wants to do no gi. Oh, no gi is because nobody's wearing a gi out. Yeah, but nobody's fucking naked in the street either. You know? So I go, look, if the guy's naked, I'm fucking not fighting him. Right? It's very simple. And they're like, but what about if it's no gi? I'm all, my finalizations will change, but my movement and everything else that I'm going to do is all the same.
Yeah. No, that's so. What do you think about that, Ricardo? Go ahead, Ricardo. Go ahead.
I still teach the same way I was taught. A lot of pressure, good guard passing. I love the half guard. So, you know, like because of my early days when I was a white belt, I've learned how to play the half guard pretty good. I basically, I don't let anybody smash me down or anything like it. Just quick enough, I just reverse them, you know, get a sweep out of the bottom. But yeah, my teaching is still the same. I still teach a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you, Ricardo. What do you think about that sort of way of thinking? Even Kurt mentioned it, like sort of like ecological jiu-jitsu or whatever.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know exactly, but
God, that makes me so mad. My guys came in and said, "Hey, we're gonna do some ecological jiu-jitsu." Fuck you. Fuck.
What was that? What was that? What is
What
it
the
like?
fuck is that? No,
Yeah.
it was funny. They came in and they said that to me, and I go, "What the fuck is that?" And they're like, "It's where you just train the position." I'm all specific. Well, you want to do specific? That like very, very, very structured, specific training. And they're like, "Yeah, that's ecological." I'm all, "Fuck you." I'm never gonna call it that ever in my life.
I actually, when I first heard that, I'm like, ecological jiu-jitsu, what the heck is that? So I actually Googled it, and I'm like, that's ecological jiu-jitsu. And the first question I asked myself when I saw that, how the fuck you teach that to somebody who's first day jiu-jitsu? A beginner jiu-jitsu guy wouldn't even know what the hell you're doing. I believe ecological jiu-jitsu is a lazy instructor who doesn't want to take his time to explain the techniques and just makes a combination and goes, "Okay, you guys saw what I did. Yeah, okay, do it." That's it. Right?
So
I mean,
let me ask you, Kurt, what are the basics moves in jiu-jitsu that you preserve in your academy, and what the Gracies, were really strict to teach, and they still teaching that kind of stuff. You can tell me just what are those moves, because people are asking, like ecological jiu-jitsu is like whatever, right? You got to stick to what?
You got to stick to. You got to have a really good elbow escape, a good upa. You have to have a basic knowledge of getting up in posture and opening the guard. You have to have like a good simple choke, a good arm lock, a good Americana, and a good Kimura, and a good guillotine, and a back take with a Mata Leon. It's rice and beans.
Exactly.
Rice and beans, bro. Shit, I can survive on rice and beans, and the guys are like, "What do you mean by that?" I'm like, "That's what Halfie used to always say. Hang on. Look, if you have water and crackers, you can survive on that." And they're like, "What about steak?" I'm all, "Fuck steak. You don't get any steak. This is a crisis situation. You're going to have to fucking revert and just take your fucking basics and fight this guy who's got a berimbolo. Fuck him."
What about you, Ricardo? What are the specific moves that the Machado taught you?
I think I'm gonna say the same thing he said, but I'm gonna say it this way. You have to have a well-structured, strong base on how to pass guard and also how to defend guard. If you get those two together, the good guard, strong guard passing will lead you to a good side control and a good mount. And a good, strong guard defense will lead you to a nice submission from the bottom or a really nice sweep, where you then again end up on top on a mount or side control. If you get all that really nice work, really good, I think you're pretty safe doing jiu-jitsu. Nowadays, what I worry about is the foot lockers and the leg lockers, because literally I think that's all they know how to do. And they will not put a gi on because they say they feel lost.
That's correct. Yeah, actually, that was something that I was mentioned to Jorge back in the day, a few shows ago. Like, basically, I see in the tournament score, like all the time, like the guys are sitting and they start attacking the legs, like right away. Like, I mean, I remember back in the day, you only throw leg locks once you once you have your proper belt. Right.
All right.
That was correct. Look, so can you talk about that? Go ahead.
This is what Half told me, and it made so much sense that I tell my guys that, and they go, "Kurt, do you know foot locks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know a lot of foot locks. I know a lot of knee locks. I know a lot of heel hooks. I know all these things." He goes, "Why didn't you do it?" I'm all, and then Half told me this a long time ago. He goes, "What does the lion grab the gazelle by?" And I go, "The throat." And he goes, "Exactly." And then he walked away. So all my guys go, "If you had a foot lock there," I'm all, "I don't want his foot. I want his fucking throat." So that always made sense to me. I know, because I'm a barbarian, he talked to me like that. And then he would go, "Look, if you're going to kill something, you fucking grab it by the throat. You can break somebody's foot, you can break their knee, you can break their arm, you can break all these pieces on a person, they won't die. But you grab them by the throat, they fucking die.
That's correct. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing because the new generations, and I was talking to Simon about that. Simon was asking me what this I hear about these trends about ecological jiu-jitsu and all of that stuff, and he was explaining to me, it's just like training, going there. Like, how you can train someone, he doesn't know the basics, right, Simon? Go ahead, Simon.
How do you know what to do? If you can't escape from someone in mount, if you can't do an elbow escape, I was talking to some guys in the local gym here last week who practice ecological jiu-jitsu. These are white belts in no gi, and their first lesson is, here's a blue belt, he's going to put you in mount, and they just sit there for 5 minutes, and they don't show them what to do, and that doesn't make any instructional sense to me whatsoever. But I mean, that's kind of the thing I wanted to ask both of you professors was, you are that first generation of American BJJ practitioners and instructors. You're kind of carrying that Gracie legacy and the all of the origins of BJJ. What do you see in the way that's changed now? Because you both, basics, all of these basic techniques, these basic positions, you can't get away from that. Is that changing now in modern jiu-jitsu?
Well, just like as Americans, what I noticed is everybody wants a fast track, and then some people you gotta like dumb it down, and then some people, they're just not willing to really suffer like we did. They don't want they don't really want to suffer. Some guys do, and what's funny is like I don't really concentrate on talented people because they're easy to teach. They're talented, so they have connection with their physical being, and they're kind of smart. But a lot of people, they're very smart and they've never been in touch with their body. So when these kind of people come in, you have to take them off to the side and do a proper orientation. Like, you're going to get your elbow escape, you're going to get put into guard, you're going to learn how to do maybe a Americana, you're going to do an arm lock, and then the next time they come in, you review that and then maybe add one piece. And so if you're going to, it's just like, it's like raising a child, right? So you can't just go, okay, now you're going to run when the person can't run, so everything develops in stages. And so I think that everybody wants to do everything in a hurry. I want to be an expert, but basically it's going to be 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And any way you want to get these 10,000 hours, like me, I did every day, all day for 10 years. And then I got my black belt, and then I go, whoa, now I can fucking learn fast.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't make me any better. Now I can fucking understand and learn shit. Yeah. But these guys, definitely there's more internet and more exposure to like watching stuff. And then some people will be able to get stuff off of just watching stuff. So there's like 3 different people you can teach. There's people I can tell about it and they understand. There's people I can show them and they understand. And then there's people that need all 3. I got to tell them, I got to show them, and I got to do it to them.
Exactly.
And that's the way I was. I was like, fuck, I can't even hear about it. You better just show it to me or do it to me.
Because that's quite a sophisticated learning process, right? Because you're tailoring what you brought from a really, as you've both said, a really difficult, tough academy full of tough people from the street, but you're now tailoring that kind of to a different audience, right? Because, Professor, you mentioned these are kids who are able to pay for jiu-jitsu lessons now, which they never were in the past. Do you have a different kind of pupil now, and do you have to alter what you're doing for that?
Like in San Francisco, it's like the high-tech guys, and they're very, very smart. So it takes a while to like get them doing sports, but then they realize the value of it, right? Because all of a sudden they get chicks, you know, and they do, and then they're like the most dangerous nerds at their academy, you know what I'm saying? And they start kicking the shit out of the other nerds, and the other nerds go, "Holy shit, I want to learn this." And then all of a sudden, you start doing classes down at Apple or at, you know, whatever, Microsoft and stuff like that. And the guys that are geared like that, they have really analytical minds, and so they understand the trajectory and the logic and the, you know, all this stuff, but they don't know how to make it in their body. But once they start doing that, they really excel, and they really like the sport because it's very, very, it's really kind of a cerebral game. You know, is
that because it's process based? You know, you've always got this defend, control, establish position, submit. They understand those kind of routines, right?
They understand the protocol. If you teach them like that, they're used to hearing it. Then they understand that. I'm like, no, this is how you do it. If you do it this way, you'll always get this end product. If you skip a step, you get what Joe gets. You know what I'm saying? And, well, he didn't get anything. Exactly. He got nothing because he didn't fucking follow the recipe. And so, so that's what they're really good at. They're really good at like hitting all the points that create that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Hang on, I got somebody at the door.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and 10 minutes. So it's pretty. It's pretty amazing. So, what do you think, Ricardo? Is similar now in LA? I mean, you get some different type of students every part of where you are based. Basically, you know, he's in San Francisco. He's talking about getting this IT, you know, students. What about you in your academia?
I believe there is maybe like 3 types of students, right? The guy who wants to become tough, and sometimes they're already tough. They just want to learn to be more tough, right? And then you got the guys that just want to get in shape, not for fighting or anything. And then you got well, we call them the executives, like those ones that he just mentioned, like the nerds. Like the executives are the ones who work in offices, got good jobs and all that. They don't want to fight. They just want to learn the art because they see in it and they like it, right? But there is one general thing about this: you cannot mix them, because if you mix them, then you lose the executive guy, and the executive guy is the guy who pays you more to teach them, right? The guy who wants to be tough and is the tough guy, you just all you got to do is just he wants to learn jiu-jitsu to become more tougher. Usually they don't have any money. And then you got your one in between, the one who just wants to get in shape and at the same time wants to become tough, right?
Wow.
But anyways, so I think those are the three things that you get in when you get students, man. You can actually get, like he said, you can actually get a nerd, weak guy, but he's very smart. And if he sticks with jiu-jitsu and within a year or maybe 2, he becomes actually not weak no more. And he's got like the best technique, well applied and all that, right? And sometimes you get the tough guy. The man, he could be tough and all that, but sometimes it's tough to teach him because they're too stubborn to listen, you know? And bottom line, that's the way it is, you know? And I mean, if that makes any sense to you guys, but it does make sense to me because I was one of them. So when I decided to start listening, I'm already strong, you know, I don't need to get stronger. All I need to do is use my strength the right way, you know?
That's correct.
And then as an instructor now I see it, and like when we were talking a little bit ago about the guys that want to learn too fast, oh God, because they see things on the internet. I still got students that come up to me, they go, "Hey professor, I saw this on the internet, how do you do this?" I go, "Dude, you don't even know how to freaking do an arm bar from the guard yet." You know, I mean, I'm not quite sure if this happened to Kurt before, but
Oh yeah.
I've taught in a different academies before. Well, they hire me to go teach, and I see guys with 4 stripes and the blue belts. And sometimes I even see purple belts. Like I see him do arm bars from the guard, and I'm all like, man, you know what? The guy if you do it like that, the guy will always escape. Because they don't put pressure on the neck with their legs, because they don't pinch their knees together, and what have you, right? And then when I go, hey, bro, you know what? Your armbar could be better this way, and they go, whoa, fuck, this is the way I've learned it. Well, you know what? I'm sorry to tell you, but you learned it the wrong way. You know? I mean, I'm not that mean,
that's
but
an
yeah,
everyday experience.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. And exactly that's why Kirk and I already mentioned, you know, at the beginning, we learn the basics the right way. Once you learn them the right way and you know how exactly they work, then you can change them a little bit here and there. But the basic is the basic. Those basics well learned are the ones that are gonna get you through everything. I mean, even learning how to move the hips the right way is the key into learn how to do good guard passing and good guard defending. But more than anything, escaping things. Like if you get put into trouble, your hips are gonna save you. You know how you move your hips the right way in order not to get caught, or if you get caught, how you move your hips in order to get out. You know. And and if you think about it, if you get you could get a student coming into the school today. Kurt can tell you this, and then when the warm up starts and you start doing hip escape exercises, the brand new guy don't even know how to move their hips, right? So you know, like, oh my God, I mean, I don't make fun of anybody, because it happened to me when I first started doing the hip escapes. I go, how the hell do you do this? You know, so that tells you that your body is not ready to start learning jiu-jitsu. You start learning how to move your body. Any more than learning how to move your body, then you start learning the techniques, so you can do the techniques as you learn how to move your body. And your hips are like the number one thing that you got to learn how to move well. You know, and every little technique you do since you're a white belt have to do a lot with your hips, including the arm bar from the guard, which basically that's the first technique they teach you. You know, but if you can comprehend why you have to move yourself and get an angle so you can get the arm bar the right way, you just won't do it. You suffer trying to learn that. And a lot of people quit jiu-jitsu because a month and a half after they started, go, man, this is too hard. I can't do it. Yes, you can. You just gotta listen and tell your body that you have to learn how to move your body. You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's incredible story, Simon. Every day we go through that, and have let me ask you something else, guys. We are getting in the stage of that. You guys are this generation of, you know, fighters, pure fighters, like, you know, very strong. Now you know everything changed. You are the next level teachers. But what is happening now is that in jiu-jitsu and the trends and the new things and everything, it seems that we are getting displaced by the work getting old on an old teacher, or he's too old to teach me something that the new generations can teach me better. What would you say about it? What is your thoughts on this? Because I hear it a lot. Oh, those guys are the old school. I don't want to go there. I want to go with the guy who is the champion. For example, you know, Gordon, Ryan, you know, these new kids, they're fantastic. But how do you...
some guys that are really good, but they're fucking the worst teachers ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but like me, I was like more like I was kind of developed by Half and Caesar to become an instructor and run shit. And then they're like, it's not important, you know, it's important that you're very good and that you're very good at teaching and running an academy and running the classes and stuff like that. But, you know, If you want to compete, then compete. And then if you don't, it's not required. And I tell my guys, you guys don't have to fight if you don't want to. If you fight, I support you. If you guys don't want to fight, I support you. But like wanting the champion, I mean, that's why you compete, because it gets your name out there, you know. And there's a lot of guys that are maybe they don't come in first, you know, but they're really good teachers. And I think that just because you're on the top of the podium doesn't always mean that you're going to be a great teacher.
Yeah.
To be able to teach, you have to have the patience, because what Kirk just said is the truth. I know world champions that I've been to their seminars, and they can't teach shit. They don't have the patience for it, you know. And then those guys, some people goes, oh, I'm gonna go train with what's his name because he's like on the top of the world right now. You gotta go pay a lot of money, and 99% of the time they're not even gonna teach you. They got somebody else teaching for them, you know. So you rather go with a guy who's gonna have somebody teaching you, or you want to go with a guy that knows his craft, even though he's not like super world champion, but he's gonna teach you better than the other guy. You know,
that's correct. It's kind of like having, you know, like this Mr. Miyagi, an old teacher, you know, giving you all of that experience, all of those, correcting your position, correcting you know, the way you move and all of that kind of stuff. You don't see it in the new generations. They just go say, they just do like organical jiu-jitsu, you know, let's just roll. But, you know, I'm fascinated with that kind of stuff because it's been changing from the last 20 years in many ways like this, right? They forget about the experience, the people who begin this, you know, we call it the old school. It's just, you can't compare this. You can't have it anywhere. So, you know, it's kind of like we have to show some respect for the 30, 50 years that you guys been training. That means you have so much knowledge that you can share to these people, right? Is it correct, or am I wrong here?
I believe that the old school is actually the new school now. People wants to learn the right way. The only thing that has derailed that a little bit, it's when people literally go into a sparring session or what is it called, a match on a tournament, and then they sit down, you know, shake hands and sit down on the mat. I know what they want. They want to catch your legs, right? But whatever it happened with learning how to take somebody down, whatever happened with defending the takedowns, whatever happened with okay, I got a super strong guard, you know, got to pass it. I don't care what you're gonna do, but you never get that chance because the guy sits down trying to catch on your foot, you know. And I seriously against that. It's those tournaments got to have a rule. We stand until somebody goes down because he's being taken down, not because I'm going to sit at will and clamp on one of your, you know, your feet. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but shit, man, I freaking hate it when I go to competitions and the guys sit on me. Dude, I want to take you down. Why the hell you sit? You know?
The way Half taught us is like, if the guy sits to guard, he's already giving you the advantage. He's on bottom.
Exactly. You already losing. Exactly.
If we jump to guard, Half would be like, "By the hobble." Go give your ass too. Fuck that. We'd go out there and fucking try to put the guy on bottom, like severely on bottom, so that he was compromised right when he hit. You know. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're gonna do guard, I don't understand just sitting down because that you have no connection. But if you were to jump to close guard and then go after the opponent furiously, that is another thing.
Yeah. That's correct.
Jorgito,
vamos a cambiar un poquitito. Let me just talk a little bit Spanish for our Spanish audience, because Jorge is... tenemos algunas noticias ahí, Jorgito, con toda la gente que nos está escuchando, fantásticas historias de estos dos grandes maestros del Jiu Jitsu, algo que no tenemos y es como un tesoro, ¿no? Es la gente grande ya ahora que en su edad están pues compartiendo, dando clases, dando su conocimiento, su experiencia, que no puede compararse con cualquier otra experiencia que haya. Sí, los jóvenes son fuertes, han ganado campeonatos, etcétera, etcétera, pero no se puede comparar esta preparación que el profesor Ricardo, que el profesor Kurt tienen desde hace años, los dos similares historias de formación para que de la misma forma que fueron pues creados, modelados para ser profesores en la extensión de la palabra, ¿no? Y que poco se aprecia hoy en día con los jóvenes. ¿Qué opinas, mi querido Jorgito? No te escuchamos, Jorgito.
Perdón. Es que
Sí,
le puse mute al micrófono porque estaba contestando a todo el mundo. Están mandando mensajes. Quiero saludar a la gente desde a ver, aquí nos saludó el profesor César Castillo hasta Chetumal. También allí le mandan saludos al profe Ica desde Izamal, Yucatán. También ahí a Luis Palma. Es que ya son varios mensajes. Déjenme encontrar uno en donde decía que estaba muy interesante la plática. Bueno, no la encuentro. Saludos también a Hugo Balcázar, al maestro Marco Antonio López.
Pues tenemos muchísimos mensajes, ¿no?
Sí,
La gente se ha volcado a escucharnos, a escuchar estos dos grandes maestros, y como te estaba diciendo hace unos momentos, Jorgito, que creo que no tenías el audio, es una gran experiencia tener esta calidad de profesores que fueron formados precisamente en las academias de cada quien, una en el Machado y la otra en los Gracie, ¿no? Esta gran experiencia que nadie puede tener o compartir, ¿no? El hecho de que, bueno, hoy en día la juventud está viendo los nuevos competidores, sí, pero la idea general siempre es historia, es esta técnica fundamental que hace genial el Jiu Jitsu, ¿no? Y que estos dos profesores que son los grandes estandartes de este deporte, es increíble toda la experiencia, toda la plática que estamos teniendo sobre estos puntos, ¿no? Entonces, a eso estaba tratando de referirme un poquito, Jorge, antes de que su audio se fuera por ahí.
No, y sobre todo porque ellos hablan con verdad. Por ejemplo, ellos, como bien dicen, eran verdaderos tanques de guerra, iban a la lucha, puro lucha de presión. El mismo profe Ica lo mencionaba hace un momentito, o sea, eso que está sucediendo ahorita, de que ni siquiera apenas se saluda, ¡pum!, al piso. Dices, oye, ¿qué es eso? Eso no es Jiu-Jitsu. O sea, ya perdiste, como bien dicen ellos. Así que,
pues,
la verdad...
estaríamos orientados, estaríamos bien decir que en estos momentos hay que siempre respetar o tener idea de que no porque estamos o están grandes los profesores, pues ya no funcionan o ya nos van a transmitir los conocimientos que los jóvenes ahora están transmitiendo. Eso sería un gran error. Creo que todos tenemos que tener idea de que estos señores, estos señorones son unos grandes Mr. Miyagi, si lo quieren poner así, unos profesorazos que pueden todavía transmitirle muchísimas cosas a todo el mundo.
Totalmente de acuerdo.
Regresar con ellos. Simon, what do you think about this? These great teachers, Kurt and Ricardo, this is amazing, like the way they teach, the old school, nothing fancy, nothing that goes right there to the legs and, try to mortar or break your bones right away. The essential idea of Jiu-Jitsu is what they say, the basics. The basics.
I think I was really struck by something Ricardo said about this is actually the new Jiu-Jitsu. This is people who've trained in a almost a lackadaisical way, in a way that they haven't learned these basics. Are they now going to come back to that? Are they going to come back to, I guess what the Gracies called invisible Jiu-Jitsu, right? All of the details of these basic positions, these basic escapes. Are people going to refocus on that? Is that where you guys see this going?
I'd like that,
I like it sometimes when I do any kind of technique, like inside, and then all of a sudden I escape or I catch somebody and they go like, how do you do that? You see, they don't even see it coming. That's like what that's what invisible jiu-jitsu is.
I don't know what I did. I forgot.
Yeah. No, you know what I do? So those are things that I do. I just don't know how to explain them. That's what I tell some people. I just don't know how to explain them.
Does that come from the kind of academies and the kind of way you guys?
I think it comes from learning the right way, and then you shape it on into your own abilities. You know, remember, everybody has their own ability, but you got to learn the things the right way, and then after that, you can shape them up a little bit. I mentioned that earlier, you know. And another thing I want to add to this is like, I don't care whether if you like to pull guard or you like to sit down or you like to take down. I believe that you got to learn it all. You got to learn how to take people down. You got to learn how to defend it. Even pulling guard has its art. You cannot just pull guard just for pulling guard. Exactly. Most of the people that don't know how to pull guard, they pull guard and they pass their guard. You know? And what does that tell you? You don't have a good guard. That's what it tells you. You know? That's good. Yeah. I was Kirk mentioned something a couple of minutes ago that I was telling Jorge that I told Jorge last week, but I forgot what it was. If I remember, I'll say something about it.
But let me ask you something, Kurt. Like, I want to ask you, what is the secret sauce that you can teach, or you teach now, and you think, you know, this is the preservation of the jiu-jitsu that will stick there forever? You have one specific technique that you love, and can you just walk through that and explain it?
Like the most important thing, like I think, is something Ricardo said. He said, you got to fucking learn to move your hips. Yeah. And so, like, sometimes I go do like seminars, and everybody's like expecting, like, you know, like a lightsaber, you know, or something that just is incredible. And the first thing I do is I walk in and I go, and I put on some heavy metal, and then I go, let's see everybody's elbow escape, because I don't call it shrimp. If I want fucking shrimp, I'll scream shrimp, and that means I want a fucking shrimp cocktail. But you know, it's like it's hip escape, right? And so Hop always told me, you know, you got to use your elbow, and you use an elbow escape, tu vas fugar o quadril. You're gonna move your hips. You gotta move your hips. The first thing I see people doing it, like pushing with 2 feet. They turn on their side. They put both hands on one side. Both of these things are like really, really wrong. So A, you put your hands 2 on one side. The guy goes to your back. B, you push with 2 feet. Your bottom leg will not come out. C, you turn on your side and put your knees together. The guy will go across your border. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that I learned, like being an instructor is like, okay, I have to change the way I teach elbow escape. But basically, in the beginning, just to get these fucking retards to move their fucking hips, you have to teach them that way, and then you can fix it later. You know so that's my favorite move is my hip escape or elbow escape, and that's like something that's so like embedded into the sport. You know, there's different ways to move your hip. You can do a pivot, you can do a scoot, right, or you can invert. But if you don't know how to move your hips, your jiu-jitsu is going to suck.
That's exactly what I say. Remember, you got to learn how to move your hips. If you don't learn how to move your hips, you know, oftentimes I tell my students, I'm going to teach you how to move your body. The jiu-jitsu techniques are just like icing on the cake. Yeah. Really? Yeah, because you can't freaking move. You're stiff as hell.
Fuck, you're glued to the fucking floor.
Like just precisely this past Monday, I did a drill in the academy where like somebody goes inside control and I'm at the bottom and I just keep my elbows glued to my body and I'm okay. You gotta escape without using your arms. How the hell am I gonna use your own body? You know, be like a worm, just worm out of it. And it fucking works. like I don't get caught at the bottom because that's what I use. I just and when it comes to the elbow skate, when you're mounted, people don't use their elbows.
I remember this. Half goes, okay, we're gonna do saída de montada. We're gonna do an escape from the mount. Yeah. And so everybody mount up and get tight, and the guy on bottom has to escape. And so he's like, go. And I'm trying to escape the guy, but it's different when the mount happens right when it happens, the best time to leave, right? But if the guy's mounted and he gets to set up, it's like concrete, right? And so then Half would walk around and he'd take his belt off. And if you weren't escaping, he'd start whipping your feet. Bro, not lightly. He was whipping your fucking feet so it was laying stripes down. And then you'd fucking elbow fucking escape, bro, because you don't want to get whipped in your feet anymore.
That's
so
you don't use that with your students now, do you?
Half's teaching tool was violence.
Yeah. I actually heard that a lot. Hey, by the way, Kurt, I known you for a long time, man. Like I heard of you so much. Like I seen you in tournaments before. Actually, it surprised me that you and I never competed together. I don't know why, but I guess maybe because I'm a middleweight, But yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Your career's being pretty good and long.
I was always super heavy, and I didn't get to medium. Like medium heavy until I was like 45 when I started doing MMA at 45. Yeah, I was always middle and medium heavy, and those were my two divisions. Like if I feel like losing a lot of weight, then I'll go to middle. If I don't, then I'll just stay on like I'm a natural light heavy. You mentioned it earlier today. You're always being a 180 fighter. 185 pounds, like basically that's what I just kept myself to, about 180. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell you now that I actually know you for a long time, man. And I knew you trained at Ralph Gracie, and I don't know if you remember the Camarillo brothers. They also train in San Jose, right, or somewhere around there. Yeah. They're right down the street.
That's sort of funny too, because there is a story that really it's kind of like, this is one of the reasons why we have you guys here, because you have like a parallel life together, right? Because once you were training with Cesar Gracie went to San Jose and all of that, trained all of these new generations like the Diaz brothers and also, and then the Camarillos too were spreading somewhere there. It's just so funny the way that things, you don't even knew each other back in the day, but now it's just we are here with you guys, having so much fun about this experience in the Jiu-Jitsu. And well, let me ask you, Kurt, are you still with the Royal Gracie, or you have your own academy?
I teach at Half's headquarters, San Francisco headquarters. I teach on Saturdays. And then during the week, I teach at La Mirinda, which is like 5 minutes away from my house right here. And then I'm doing seminars. I do as many seminars as I possibly can. I like to see the world, and I like to go and
there you go.
That's the best thing. It's like
for our audience here, we have people in Spain, we have people listening us from Central America, South America as well. And we can spread the word that you wanted to teach there, and people are asking, how was your health, how was everything, and if everyone can say hi, or anyone who can connect to us, if they want to have a seminar with both teachers here, please contact us. Please let us know, or contact them directly. You will have your money worth by teaching this. These guys are like the first class teachers. Everything that you can learn from there it will be worth it. It will be the best. I have the experience.
I just got a new passport, so anybody wants me down there in Mexico, man, I'll come down there. I can speak Spanish. I can speak my Portuñol too.
Portuñol.
Yeah, we have so many academics. We have Renzo there too. We have Todd brothers from some different teachers that they are related or affiliated there. So they are listening to us. Hopefully they can contact us. And, Jorge runs the whole Yucatan Peninsula in Cancun, has his own dojos there. So, this is fascinating. I'm happy that you are, still running, still trying to eat the whole work. Kurt, I'm happy that you are healthy. I know you have rough moments in your life like anyone else, but I'm so happy that you are, here sharing your experiences. This phone talk about like how we,
Thanks a lot.
we all connected with this jiu-jitsu, and you guys are never old or too old to really pass the torch or teach these new generations.
That's what my young guys keep telling me.
I'm too old to stop now. Just might as well just keep going.
Exactly. I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Exactly. Might as well. Yeah, if jiu-jitsu saved my life, keep saving it.
Exactly. And it keeps saving it. That's what I keep saying.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying it. Because if I feel like if I stop now, man, I die. So I might as well just keep on going. Can I say something? Because you two don't know really much about me, but I'm actually was born and raised in the same city where Jorge is, Mérida, Yucatan, Mexico. I moved here when I was 19 years old to Hermosa Beach, California. And lucky for me, the first jiu-jitsu academy in the United States, which it was a garage, it was 4 blocks away from my house. That was Jorge's Gracie Academy. That's where Hickson Gracie, Higan Machado, Fabio Santos, that's where they all came to start teaching with Jorge and Gracie. Yeah, everybody was at the garage. Well, that garage, that house is 4 blocks away from my house because I still live in Hermosa Beach. So I moved here when I was 19, and I'm 100% Mexican. Both of my parents are Mexican. I'm Mexican. I was born and raised there. I just moved here because I just wanted to come.
I just want to add that we really know about you, Ricardo. You were a cook. You moved there. You were working, as a cook in LA when they, opened the first gym. I think in the garage back in the day. We know all about you. You are from Yucatan. That's one of the reasons we are having you here. Of course, we know you, man. And
cool. I didn't think that Simon knew about me, so that's why I'm kind of saying.
I didn't, because these two never told me you were coming on.
I have plans to go back to Mexico and open up an academy here pretty soon. Well, soon enough, I'll say.
There you go. You can have you can go down there to Yucatan. It's the best place in Cancun with all the Caribbean. Professor Ricardo is going to open a school there, so you can go there.
I'm staying away. I'm staying away from Cancun. I have a house on the beach near Jorge's, man. I built up my house. I built myself a house on the beach in a place called Chipchulup, Yucatan, which is about 14 miles from Mérida, off the coastline.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's what's awaiting for me right now.
So,
anyways, I just thought I'd say that.
That's pretty cool. Let me ask you the last question, and I think we're running out of time. But what is next for you, Kur, in the future? What are you? We hear that you want to travel, you want to go anywhere else, but you are recovering from that health problems that you have. But what is next for you? What is in your life and everything?
I'm gonna set up a couple tours. I got that new passport, and I had to do that because California's got to stick up their butt about getting a special document before you fly. So now I'm cleared to fly everywhere. I just want to go out and meet as many people, throughout the United States or the world, and I want to show them what like I did the work, and then I've modified, the structure of teaching and everything, but but I think that I have a lot to show still, and I'm primarily just keeping myself healthy and moving really good, and so I can teach really well. And I'm not gonna show you shit that doesn't work.
That's exactly what I do too.
Talented people can do.
Yeah. Functional jiu-jitsu. You teach people stuff that works, not fantasy techniques. Only work for some people. That's it.
And let me ask you, Ricardo, the same question. What is next for you? Are you trying to move back from LA to Mexico? What is next for you, man?
I've actually been going to Mexico since I was a blue belt to teach jiu-jitsu for 32 years now. I think I'm going to retire in Mexico, and I think I'm going to open up an academy there. But I still have a couple more things left that I got to do here in the States, basically here in California. But I'm already focusing on the move on, man. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to never come back here. I just got to do the reverse of my life. I spent like 30% of my life in Mexico now and 70% here. I think I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to spend 70% there and 30% here, because I still got to teach here too, and I got to teach there. And so that's what I'm looking forward to do. And like I say, I've actually have a house and 3 apartments on the beach. So I got to go make money on apartment rentals.
Going with you.
Let's go, man.
No fucking.
I love you too, man.
And for seminars, I'll travel anywhere anybody wants me to, and I'm not.
That's very cool.
I've always got to teach stuff that works taught the right way, and I have an eagle eye. When I see people doing something wrong, they think that I don't see them, and I'm like, hey, dude, you're doing that wrong. You saw that? Because of course I did. It's kind of funny, yeah. But anyways, I see everything, man.
This has been really a fantastic talk. Thank you so much, the two of you, for giving us your time and really talk to our community. And I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to see you. Currently, haven't seen you in ages. But I think the time is already gone. But Simon, this has been great. One of the best shows we have.
Ricardo, thank you so much. Really interesting. Kurt, thank you again, and thank you for moving the week.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. Thanks to all your viewers and listeners.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it. Jorgito, you want to say something in English, Jorgito?
Más bien, quiero apudarme a poner los que nos han estado apoyando, si nos lo permiten. Nada más.
Claro que sí, antes de despedirnos. So we're going to switch a little bit in Spanish, but we really appreciate your time, both of you. Ricardo, it is a pleasure to having you here in the show. Cor, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And we will be in touch. And of course, we can exchange. Jorgito is going to talk a little bit about Spanish, because we have a lot of people trying to send message, trying to talk to you guys, trying to tell us everything. But we're going to switch in Spanish right now. Go ahead, Jorge. Vamos.
Bueno, pues aquí unos mensajitos, pero la verdad es que todos nos están saludando desde Oaxaca, desde como les había dicho, desde Quintana Roo, también desde Veracruz. Le están mandando ahorita los alumnos del profe Ica, que están diciendo que les mande saludos.
¡Saludos! ¡Saludos!
Y bueno, permítame
también tenemos gente en España también, hay mucha gente que está en España. Tenemos también saludos ahí a la Ciudad de México, a la parte de El Salvador, ahí en Guatemala también, mucha gente que nos está también escuchando, y todos aquellos que nos están apoyando. Muchísimas gracias. Esto es Dos Fronteras, es momento de despedirnos, y antes de despedirnos tenemos nuestro comercial final, pero no nos queda más que agradecerles a todos por estar una vez más en su programa Dos Fronteras con estas dos personalidades del Jiu Jitsu. Así es que nos despedimos. Thank you so much, guys. It's time. We're going to leave, and we're going to have just a commercial, but really appreciate your time. We'll see you in some time soon. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Good talk, Kurt.
Thanks.
Later, guys. Bye.
usted Frank Johnson?
Sí.
Aquí tiene sus documentos legales, ha sido notificado. Integrity Attorney Services, donde nos aseguramos que sus documentos legales sean entregados rápida y eficazmente. Tenemos más de 30 años de experiencia sirviendo a la comunidad del Valle. Llámenos al 602-424-3026.